to round 5 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. After the wide open spaces of Darwin's Hidden Valley, we arrive at Queensland's Morgan Park Raceway, one of the tighter and more technical circuits on the 2022 calendar. At just under 3 kilometres in length, Morgan Park is well known for its iconic Turn 3, but multiple elevation changes, blind corner entries and a short straight mean there is nowhere to rest, ensuring the racing in all classes this weekend will be action-packed. Turn 1, the AWMF corner starts off a lap here at Morgan Park. Then it's the uphill Alpine Stars Turn 2, iconic Turn 3 under the bridge, and then down into Motul corner Turn 4. Hard on the brakes is an overtaking opportunity. Same at Honda Turn 6, and Yamaha Turn 7 starts the run down the very narrow, fast and bumpy back straight through Michelin, Dunlop, and then the bottom of the hill at Turn 10, the Suzuki corner. We run up through the final chicane and finish off the lap over the crest here at Morgan Park. Let's find out more about this very technical circuit with a man that has 4 Superbike victories here, Troy Herfoss. He's with Steve Martin.
Well, this track, Troy, Morgan Park Raceway, is completely different to the big open spaces that we had at Hidden Valley. It's tight, it's twisty, it's a little bumpy, a decent little run down into Turn 1 into the Alpine Stars section, but it's here at Turn 3, really. You said to me before the start of this session that this corner here, Turn 3, makes Morgan Park.
It does, Steve. This is one of my favourite corners on the calendar, really. And this corner sums up Morgan Park. It's rough on the way in. It's blind. The fences are close. You don't see where the exit is. The corner opens up. The bike's out of control as you exit. It completely sums up this track. Let's go for a walk around the track and see the rest of it.
Absolutely. Let's head round. It might be tight and a good place to go for a jog, but this Morgan Park circuit, it's got plenty of overtaking opportunities. I've seen people pass in Turn 1, the Alpine Stars corner, Motul corner, another place. What do you reckon?
From Turn 4, if you can't get it done, Steve, you've got this run through Turn 5 into Honda Turn down to Turn 6. They're both very similar corners, but you can either be setting up at Turn 4 or making the pass, or I like to wait till Honda corner. It's a bit safer down there, a bit slower.
There was a time when you had to worry about tyre conservation at this circuit, but the tyres are so good now that it's more about preserving your body over the distance of the race.
Pirelli have developed a tyre that we can do 16 laps full gas on. So now it's about the body trying to get around this bumpy circuit full gas. It makes a really tough day out.
Well, let's twist the throttle and get down to the fastest part of the circuit. Well, this is where things really start to ramp up. Through Motorcycling Australia, into Michelin and down through Dunlop. All these 3 sections linked together, 220 kilometres an hour, but the thing I can't believe is how close you get to this white line.
Yeah, this part of the track, it's 220 kilometres an hour. There's no curb, so you are dragging the front wheel through here at the highest speed on the track, into the roughest part of the track and trying to change direction. There's so much going on, and that's what makes Morgan Park so exhilarating.
It's really like threading the eye of the needle, isn't it?
It sure is.
Right, let's go. Can you overtake here, or is it all sorted in that last fast sector that we talked about?
Look, it's not the place where you always overtake, but you know what it's like in the last lap here. You've got a chicane where you can either pass on the way in, or you can lay off, gain some momentum, and try and get a bit of a pass over this rise on the way to the finish line.
It's blind on this rise too, so you really got to try and keep that front wheel down, because if that wheel lifts up, you can actually lose drive.
That's right. There's so much. It's not just a straight here, Steve, is it? You're on the rear brake trying to stop the Superbike from wheel standing. If you get a bad drive, the bike gets out of shape. There's many ways you can pass the way to the finish line. You don't just need a fast bike. You need to be technically very good on this track.
Well, there you have it. Morgan Park. Technical, tricky and fast.
Well, Johnny Littress will start from pole position. No surprise there. He knows this track and he's been very fast all year. He currently leads the championship as well. Ty Lynch and Tom Bramage join him on the front row of the grid. Jake Farnsworth, Mitch Kuhn and Scott Nicholson will start out of row number 2.
Luca Durning, the local in 7th. Reece Belling and Stacey here this weekend as well. Good to see. Tom Drain from 9th. Keep an eye on him as he comes through the field. Morgan McLaren Wood, the local. Troy Gunther, now there's a name from a blast from the past, in 11th. And Tarbin Walker in 12th. Noel Mahon rounds out the field in 13th.
Yeah, Troy Gunther, a former Australian Supersport champion. Great to have him back. Of course, a fair bit of help from the Motorcycle Sportsman to get Tom out here this weekend as Jake Farnsworth, one of the first riders back, very keen to get this race underway. On board bike number 49.
There's Litris doing a Jack Miller there too.
Well, they're both Queenslanders, so probably to be expected as he puts the 308 machine, the Sol Invictus Caboolture Yamaha, into pole position. Ready to get racing for Michelin Supersport. 14 laps the journey.
Oh, we got a problem.
Someone's got an issue there. Is it Mitch Kuhn? There was something on the track there that he brought to the officials' attention. So great work from Rob Scott to get on there quickly, but ready to go. Michelin Supersport is go. Cracking start from the front row of the grid for Litris on board 308, but looks like Ty Lynch has got a great start and will try and run down the inside, and he does, Steve. So Ty Lynch on board the 727 moto machine. Bike number 85 takes the lead for the first time.
And Bramich sits himself in there in 4th position as well. Jake Farnsworth up to right behind Tom Bramich. Mitch Kuhn got a good start as well.
Down the hill to Motul corner for the first time. Coming down the inside. Looked like up the inside of Tom Bramich. It may have been Farnsworth, was it?
He is on a mission around here, isn't he? Of course, he knows this track inside out, so he's going to be quick in the first few laps. Bramich can't afford to let the front guys get away, though, that's for sure. Scott Nicholson back there in 7th position at the moment. You can just see him. He just tips him in his Michelin shod 600 Yamaha.
Yeah, Mitch Kuhn got a great start as well, sitting in 5th position, it looks like, as they start the run down through Michelin for the first time, but it is Lynch, Litris, Farnsworth, Bramich, Kuhn and Nicholson, who didn't get the start he wanted. In fact, right behind him is Tom Drain, the youngster, on board bike number 59 from Western New South Wales.
So head up the hill through Suzuki corner at the moment. Ty Lynch, one of his, just look how much that bike is moving around as he gets on the gas there. Johnny Litris in the slipstream. Does he try and slip up the inside, or does he sit there? Good move. He just sits there at the moment.
Yeah, through AMMF corner we go with 1 lap down. It is Lynch, Litris with a fair gap now. Considering we've only done 1 lap of this circuit, I think the gap there is quite exceptional, Steve. It's actually over 1 second back to Jake Farnsworth. It's Tom Bramich, if he wants to try and hang on to these leaders, probably needs to get past Farnsworth. But at the moment, Farnsworth is showing a fair bit of speed, and Tom Bramich doesn't have an answer for it.
No, that's for sure. I mean, this is a sort of track that it does take 2 or 3 laps to settle yourself down. It's so rough. Completely different lines there from the 2 leaders at the moment. Ty Lynch taking a much tighter, like turning the bike, Litris letting it run out right to the edge. 2 completely different riding styles there. You can just see, once again there, Litris turns in from a much wider angle. Ty Lynch able to get that same speed from a tight line.
Well, looking at the bikes moving around, Steve, it almost looks like they're riding at your City MX motocross track down the back there, with the bikes hopping and jumping all over the bumps. Is that Luca Durning now making a bit of an assault on the back of Tom Drain's machine to try and find a way past, as Litris looks to the inside. They go banging bars as they go down the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight, and Litris takes the lead at the start of lap 3 of this 14-lap journey.
He certainly pushed there because his foot came off the peg as he tipped in through Alpine Stars curves. Through turn 3 they go, down the hill. Ty Lynch can't afford to let him get away.
Well, Litris has literally just lit the afterburners and pulled out a couple of bike lengths difference over Ty Lynch as they come down to Motul for the 3rd time. Changes direction through that fast left-hander and then down into a Honda corner. Probably one of the slower corners on this circuit. Then it's a little drive up the hill towards the Yamaha corner, which starts the run down the back straight. Litris through the bumps there, looking like his bike was a fair bit better behaved that lap than the last lap, where it seemed to be almost bumping around out of control.
Absolutely. Well, this is where the bumps are, and you can just see the difference there. Litris's bike is looking relatively smooth. Lynch is all over the place there, as is the man behind at the moment, the number 49.
Yeah, Farnsworth is, Tom Bramich has actually closed up a little bit, I think, onto the back of Farnsworth's machine as they make their way up towards the Yamaha chicane. Speaking of Yamahas, it's a Yamaha benefit in the Supersport category. Pretty much the Yamaha R6 is the weapon of choice. Jake Farnsworth and Tom Bramich, both R6 mounted as they make their way down towards turn 1. It's still Farnsworth holding on, but I think Bramich is actually closing in, having a look at the lap times. Tom Bramich actually did his best lap of the race.
Litris is
down. Is it? Or is it a mechanical issue?
It's a mechanical problem. And you can see what he's trying to do there. He's going to turn it on and off. This has big implications for the championship as well.
And he'd also just done the fastest lap of the race, a 1:15.841. But he's going to have a fair bit of work to do now just to try and get back into score decent points in this championship.
That is weird. It's almost, what he's done is he's reset. You can see now he's flustered. He's hard on the brakes just behind Noel Mann. He's last out on track. He's going to make his way back past and work his way through the field. But Ty Lynch will be pinching himself at the moment. To me, it almost looked like, let's have a look there. It almost looked like the bike turned itself off. The bike's turned itself off and he's reset it by turning the ignition off and on.
But how was the quick thinking from Littrus? He's a young man, but he's had immediate thoughts, right, I need to get to the outside of the circuit to a safe place, reset this bike where I'm not going to be putting myself in any danger, and got the bike reset. Let's hope he can reset the brain as well and get back on track.
And if you're a young kid watching at home, that is never give up. You've got to give it everything you can, and that's what I like to see. That's a great attitude there by the young man, John Littrus, who's got to work his way back through the field.
Coming into this race, Steve, he had an 18-point lead over Ty Lynch in the championship, so as you said, very important to make sure he gets good championship points. He couldn't afford to have a DNF and Lynch take the win.
Well, this is going to be interesting now. We've got to keep an eye on the times to see what Ty Lynch does lap time-wise without Littrus to follow. Now that Tom Bramich can also see, and Jake Farnsworth can see that Johnny Littrus is gone, those three guys are on for the podium. Can Ty Lynch maintain that pace?
Another person that's thinking now about championship implications would be Scott Nicholson on board bike number 39. He's up into fourth place ahead of Mitch Kuhn, Tom Drain and Luca Durning. He's going to take some solid championship points here as we see that rider number 88, Morgan McLaren Wood, has been given a 10-second jump start penalty. So he's sitting back in 11th place at the moment. That will put him back behind Noel Mann on the number 10 machine, the Iris Racing entry. As we look at Nicholson on board bike number 39. And Farnsworth and Bramich. Bramich has closed up even further onto the back of Farnsworth machine. This battle is for second and third position.
Absolutely. This is pretty serious, especially for the points for Bramich. He can move himself up in the championship a decent amount here. And also, every time you step on the podium, no matter what the circumstances are, it gives you confidence. And that's something that Tom Bramich needs at the moment.
Through that iconic turn 3 and down to Motul corner, that group comes. The lead at the moment is 3.6 seconds for Ty Lynch over this group as they battle. You can see Lynch just ahead there on board the 727 Moto machine. There is the championship points live at the moment. It is Littrus on 126, Lynch on 125 if they stay in the same positions. I think we can safely say that Littrus will be doing his best to try and find his way further forward and get back a couple of more points. Every place he goes forward, Steve Martin, that is one more point that he's going to be clawing back on Ty Lynch's current 25-point haul from this race.
Well, you don't want to lose the championship by 1 point, do you? Which is exactly why you've got to get going again, which is what he's done. Brilliant commendation for that, John Littrus. Even though he sits still in that final and last position on the grid, he'll be making up ground, and every time he goes past the guy in front, it's an extra point.
Yeah, big moment there for Jake Farnsworth as he got on the gas on board bike number 49 coming out of the Yamaha chicane. Tom Bramich would have seen that and be thinking, right, now might be my chance to try and find a way past. His tyres might be starting to just cry out a little bit with the extreme pressure being put under them. They make their way through turn 3.
It's an interesting position for Tom Bramich at the moment. There's two things going through his head. You can see the gap there. Ty Lynch just starting to get it a little bit sideways, which is his style. That's what he likes to do. But Bramich at the moment has got to be thinking, well, I've got a decent gap back to fourth position. I can't catch Ty Lynch in front. So what he needs to do is literally just either A, sit there for a few more laps, but the risk that he has by sitting there is he falls into the speed of the guy in front of him, Jake Farnsworth. So what he really needs to do is, if he's comfortable sitting there, do that, but if not, he's really got to start taking a dig now, otherwise he's going to get sucked into this pace.
If anything, Farnsworth looks like he's pulled out a couple of bikes lengths down through the fast back section of this circuit as they round that corner at the bottom of the hill. Make their way up through the Yamaha chicane now. This is where Bramich is very fast into the entry into that chicane. Look how much he's clawed back on Farnsworth. As they come across the line, Farnsworth gets a big tank slapper as he crests over the hill. It doesn't look like much on the TV footage there, Steve, but it certainly is a bit of a crest as they come over. The Superbikes are all over the back brake to try and keep the front wheel somewhere near the ground.
100%. What Tom needed to do there is he needs to he's quick through that last sector. If he falls back a bit and then gets a run rather than coming in right on that back wheel, that's what he can do. He can get a bit of a run and then he might come up next to him, a bit like what John Littress did.
So just having a look at it, here is this group of 4 now that are battling for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th position. It is Nicholson that's just managed to extricate himself from Kuhn's machine bike number 58. And Drain has closed right up onto the back, as has Luca Durning, the local man on board the 212 machine that we saw down there on the grid.
The locals are having a pretty good run out this weekend, aren't they? They're proving, you know, that riding around this track, it does give you a little bit of an extra benefit with the home track knowledge.
So it does look at Nicholson, bike moving around as you can see he's really pushing now. Just having a look out on the last lap, Steve, he actually did his fastest lap of the race, as did every rider in this group of 4. So they're urging each other on now. Kuhn did an 18.0, 17.7 for Tom Drain, 17.7 for Luca Durning, and a 17.9 for Scott Nicholson. So on that last lap, the 2 riders in 6th and 7th position, Drain and Durning, were the 2 fastest riders in that group. Our leader, though, Ty Lynch, he's still circulating in the 116s, a 116.192, only a fraction off his fastest lap of the race, a 116.708 or 078, but still the fastest man in this race is the man that is now trying to battle his way back from 13th position. Championship leader coming into this race, John Littress, with a 1:15.841. So he had a lot of pace, but unfortunately, it all went wrong for him with that bike malfunction.
No.
It'll look like more bike malfunction for Littress on board the 308 machine. All he's got to do now, Steve, is get this bike to the finish. He can't get back any further in the field. I think it's safe to say he's 1 lap down.
Yeah.
But if he gets to the finish, he will score some championship points, and that is most important. And should, by the live time that we saw there, maintain a 1-point championship lead over Ty Lynch on board bike number 85, who looks destined to take 25 points in this race with a victory.
Yeah, I mean, that won't finish that way with 126 to 125 if Johnny Littress doesn't finish. It'll mean that Ty Lynch will move into the lead of the championship if Johnny Littress can't get that bike running. But to me, it's red on Johnny Littress's mid-sector, so it looks like he's stuck out there on track at the moment, not making his way forward anymore, so he may have to retire.
Well, back to this battle for 2nd place. It will be Jake Farnsworth's best ever Michelin Supersport result if he can maintain 2nd position. But former Australian champion Tom Bramage is not going to let him have it. You can see there that Farnsworth's bike was really starting to move around as soon as he made that transition from accelerating out of turn 3 to getting on the brakes ready for turn 4. Bramage closes up again.
We're right at the point of the race as well where fitness has got to come into it. And we know that Tommy Bramage is pretty fit, and you can just see him there. He's really starting to menace on the back of Jake Farnsworth.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of fitness training, but he's also been doing a lot of riding, and riding fitness is a big thing. You can see Bramage now, to me, looks, Steve, like he's trying to find his way past. You can see him taking some different lines, trying to have a look past Jake Farnsworth, who's doing a sensational job here on lap 10 of 14 to hold out Bramage on 44. As Bramage looks like he has a drive up the inside, can't quite get through as they enter the Yamaha chicane, but I think he might be going to try and dive down the inside as they come to AMMF corner. If he can get a good run out of there, but Farnsworth got a great run out of the corner and maintains 2nd position.
Yeah, it's really, really tricky for Tom, but it's good to see him starting to take those different lines now. Bit of a moment there as well for Farnsworth, which has put Tom right on the back wheel. He just cannot sit behind him and follow his wheel. He's got to try all these different lines and put pressure on the man in front.
No way through at Motul corner for Bramage as Farnsworth very deep and late on the brakes.
Meanwhile, Ty Lynch is just doing a fabulous job out front. 7.6 seconds in front of this pair. He is riding brilliantly out front. But Bramage, there you go, looks up the inside. But Farnsworth chops him off again. He's just got to make a dive. It's going to have to be like a pretty brutal pass by the look of it.
I think if he can get past, he can actually pull away, because Farnsworth's bike really starts to be looking to move around. And Bramage goes through at the very fast area of the circuit. And let's see now if that prediction can come true, because Bramich's bike was looking a lot better behaved than what Farnsworth. Farnsworth was simply just gritting his teeth and riding the wheels of bike number 49. He's still in a podium position with third place, but Bramich has pulled away now. And we'll see a replay of that overtake as they came through Michelin corner. He set it up, then went down the inside, very fast corner to try and make him move out over the bumps. Great move there from Tom Bramich.
You could see how much he was pushing the front there too. It like literally was just tucking a little bit as he was asking everything and a little bit more of that Pirelli front tyre on that bike.
Litch's bike is up and going again. He's 2 laps down, Steve Martin, but that won't matter, because as long as he can get to the checkered flag, and we are on lap 12 of 14, he will take some championship points for 13th position. Nicholson still holding off Kuhn, and Durning having a big look down the inside of Tom Drain. Couldn't quite get past on the run into Michelin corner, so they stay in the same order with Nicholson, Kuhn, Drain and Durning still battling for those positions 4 back.
Yeah, still some decent lap times from that group as well. They're in the 17s. They're running similar times to what Bramich was running just before. So this group is now running the podium lap times.
They are, and man, that hasn't changed his lap times at all. Pretty much only differing by half a second over this race is our race leader, Ty Lynch, on board that 727 Moto machine. And 1:16.5 for him on the last lap. So he's pretty much a second faster than anyone else on track at the moment. And Littrus is just circulating around a 1:24. He just wants to get this bike to the finish line now.
Yep, absolutely. That's just what he needs to do. He just needs to try and keep that momentum up and get those all-important points for the championship. But it certainly means it's going to be close at the front. And they've got to try and fix that bike and find that problem. And problems like that, intermittent problems, are always very, very hard to find.
That's right. Of course, Littrus has had 3 victories already this year, so we know he's got the pace to come back. Oh, Durning. I think he might have even clipped the wall with his shoulder there as he tipped into turn 3. You can see he's pushing very hard. And look at Drain now, right up onto the back of Kuhn on board 58 too. So Mitch has got a fair bit of work to do to hold out the young hard charger from Western New South Wales over these last couple of laps. Of course, Drain, if we're talking about bike racing fitness, Drain is in a fantastic position, having raced all of those races in America just recently.
Yeah, have a look at Luca Durning though. He's trying to make his way around the outside as well. He wants to have a little bit of this action up front.
Well, down the back we go for the penultimate time. Lap 13 of this 14-lap race, and it is Drain trying to find a way past Mitch Kuhn for 5th position. You can see here a replay of Durning as he went into turn 3. And what happened, I think he may have even just went on the inside there on that AMX Superstore replay, and may have even just clipped the white line that Troy Herfoss mentioned it in our track preview. The white line actually wasn't always there.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, he didn't quite get that right. But once again, as we head out in the final lap, these guys have got to really be feeling it now. So physical, this Morgan Park circuit, that they're just gritting their teeth. They've probably got arm pump now. They know that they've just got to ride with every ounce of strength they've got to get it to the end.
Well, Nicholson's got away to 4th position. Drain down the inside of Kuhn. That's the battle for 5th position. So Drain up into 5th, but it looks like Kuhn's not going to give it up lightly. Tries to maintain track position, and he does as they come down into Honda. Tries a block pass, manages to get the job done. They almost stopped. They're back to walking pace, Steve, as they went through Honda corner on that occasion. And Kuhn's managed to get back into 5th place, because 4th place is Nicholson. He's gone. But here's our race leader through the chicane for the final time and over the crest to take the win. Ty Lynch on board bike number 85. The 727 Moto rider takes victory by a considerable margin, Steve, because the rest of the field hasn't even come over the crest. There comes Tom Bramich on board bike number 44. Great to see Tom back up on the podium in 2nd position. And 3rd place after a sensational ride will be Jake Farnsworth. His first ever podium in the Michelin Supersport Championship. And I think you can tell by the body language he's pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, awesome stuff. There goes Scott Nicholson over the line. That puts him in 4th. Mitch Kuhn just hangs on to that titanic battle between himself, Tom Drain and Luca Durning. And John Littrus manages to eke the bike over the line, 2 laps down. But boy, did he need those points.
Well, but also too, he had a bit of an issue there, but he rode a smart race to make sure that he got points. So a very smart head on the shoulders of John Littrus there. So well done. Well, and he'll come back in the next one, you can guarantee it.
I take my hat off to Ty Lynch. He's had to battle through a lot to be where he is now. Had a big crash last year, wasn't it? Or maybe just the year before. What a brilliant job for him to win this one, Phil.
Yeah, by 9.5 seconds over Tom Bramich. So congratulations to Ty Lynch. Tom Bramich in second. Jake Farnsworth rounds out the podium in third. Nicholson, some solid championship points for Scott Nicholson on board, 39 in fourth. Mitch Kuhn in fifth. Tom Drain in sixth. Durning in seventh. Belling in eighth. Tarbin Walker in ninth. And Morgan McLaren Wood with that 10-second jump start penalty rounds out the top 10. I think he's exhausted and happy at the same time.
Absolutely, that was a brilliant ride by Ty. And look at the crowd that are rolling in at the moment as well. It's a massive, always a massive weekend here at Morgan Park. And I'll tell you what, good spectator spot, and there's lots of action. Doesn't matter where you sit and watch, there's action on every corner.
That's it, and you can tell how big the crowd is because you couldn't get a table for dinner last night. Now, Littress, after that important ride and important championship points in 13th, leads the championship by 1 point over race 1 victor Ty Lynch. Scott Nicholson has also moved up in the championship stakes into third place with 99. Mitch Kuhn, great ride for him. You can see how important it was on 97. Bramich in fifth. Tom Drain, Reece Belling, Ollie Simpson, John Quinn and Senna Adjus ran at the top 10. Down to Kate at the podium.
Yes, I've got Jake Farnsworth here. Excellent result. Your first podium in the Supersport 600 class. It looked really sketchy out there.
Yeah, the conditions weren't perfect, but, you know, I just persisted. My team have an excellent setup. Worth Race Development's provided me, and I'm just so happy to be here. We worked so hard at the beginning of this year in the pre-season. I'm just really, really happy to be here.
Well done.
Thank you.
Good luck in the next race. And in P2, Tom Bramich, the behind-the-scenes fitness served you well. That was a really important podium for championship points for you.
Yeah, definitely, Kate. We've been lacking a little bit of consistency the last 2 rounds. I've had 2 DNFs and it certainly hasn't helped us. So, yeah, it's really relieving to be back on the podium and, yeah, more importantly, some good points. So hopefully more this afternoon.
Yeah, congratulations. Well done. Good luck this afternoon.
Awesome. Thanks to all my sponsors.
And in P1, Ty Lynch, congratulations. We all weren't sure who was going to stop John Littress, but it did seem like the bike stopped him. These points are incredibly important in your championship campaign, so congratulations on a win.
Thank you. Yeah, look, it's one of those things, the championship's long and it sucks to take a win like that, but, you know, we'll capitalise on whatever we can. That's super important for us and crucial, and now that's a step in the right direction.
Okay, congratulations, well done. Great start out there. Good luck for the next race.
No worries, thank you. Oh, quick shout out to John Hafey and just everyone involved in my team, 727 Motorsports, Pirelli and everyone. And big shout out to Aldo back at home. I know you're watching.
Thanks very much, Kate. Plenty more action coming up here from Morgan Park. Dunlop Supersport up after this short break. Mitch Kuhn, not sure if there was a problem with the 58 machine, but our grid sees John Littress, Ty Lynch and Tom Bramich starting from the front row of the grid. Jake Farnsworth, Mitch Kuhn and Scott Nicholson on row 2.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a packed grid out there, that is for sure. And it's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out. Ty Lynch with that confidence from the win, going to be one to watch. Littress, will his bike hang together this time out? Tommy Bramich with that new suspension and a few more tweaks. Keep an eye on him because he could be up the top 2 in this one.
Yeah, Nicholson will be looking for a much better start than the race this morning. He dropped back at the start, just couldn't quite make it back. But the man that was so impressive, Jake Farnsworth, starting from row 2 of the grid in 4th position. His best ever Supersport result. In fact, his first ever podium in the Michelin Supersport Championship. He'll be looking to replicate that one. Also great to see Troy Gunther, former Australian Supersport champion, out there as well on board bike number 65. And the Motorcycle Sportsman Club of Queensland have done a lot of work to make sure that Troy was out here on the grid as well.
Yeah, you know what they say, when you get one podium, you always want another one. So you're right. Keep an eye on the number 49, Jake Farnsworth.
So good to see Reece Belling on board bike number 61, the bricklayer from Victoria, back in the Australian Championships. Always good to see him out there. Littress, you can tell he's pumped up and ready to go on board bike number 308, starting from pole position. Ty Lynch, race 1 victor, joining him on the front row of the grid. Ready to go, Michelin Supersport, race 2. Supersport is go. Looked like a pretty good start there from Lynch, but Lynch looks like he's got another cracking start on board bike number 85 and should take the lead down the inside as they go through AMMF corner for the first time. Bramich has also got a cracking start. And Farnsworth got it all wrong going into Alpine Stars corner, and he's got a lot of work to do to try and replicate his brilliant effort in race 1 earlier today.
Yeah, he lost 4 or 5 spots there, but Ty Lynch sideways already into Motul corner.
Looked like a pretty good start for Luca Durning as well on board the 212 machine.
Yeah, he's right up there, isn't he? He's in 5th position from way back on the grid, so well done for that young man, Luca.
And also Reece Belling, the man we were talking about on bike number 61, has had a cracking start. He's up into 4th position as well. So a few of the more favoured front runners dropping back through the field through those first couple of corners.
Meanwhile, back out front, it is the 85. Just look how much these bikes move around through this section of the track. Through Dunlop they go for the first time. Hard on the brakes into Suzuki corner. Got to try and keep it nice and smooth and flowing through this part of the track. Up the hill you go. Once again into Yamaha Financial Services. Clip the curbs, change of direction, quite physical through there. And I think you were right, Phil. I just noticed that Kuhn didn't go through, didn't take his spot on the grid, so he did have some sort of gremlin on the warm-up lap.
That's exactly what it looked like. Look when he came out and he looked frustrated because his hand went into the air to let people know that there was some problem. As Letras goes into the lead a lot earlier than he did in race 1. I think that's a full lap earlier than what he did in race 1. And now he's pinned the ears back. And the young greyhound from Caboolture is going to... no, Jake Farnsworth is down. He will not be replicating the brilliant ride he had in race 1 this morning. So an unfortunate end to what has so far been a brilliant weekend for the New South Welshman.
Yeah, look at Letras though. He is on fire this time round. The bike's moving around all over that place. That overtaking manoeuvre he took into Alpine Stars curve was sensational as they head up through the track onto the bumpy back straight through Yamaha corner. Tucked in behind the screen, there's Tom Bramich with a decent little gap back now to Reece Belling in 4th position with Luca Durning still in behind him. So that was a really good ride by the 212 machine.
Well, in the Australian Superbike Championship, John Letras had actually started 18 races here at Morgan Park before he came into this weekend, but none of them were on Supersport 600 machines as a dejected Jake Farnsworth makes his way off the side of the Morgan Park venue there. His race 2 ending not with the result that he would have wanted after race 1 earlier today.
Yellow flags out there, so it was turn 1, so that would have been quite a big crash there for Jack, unfortunately for him. But Johnny Litteris, foot off the peg. He's very aggressive in these early parts of the race, but Ty Lynch is hanging in there at the moment. They've left the rest of the pack for dead. Look at that. 3.3 seconds. This Supersport, of course, proudly brought to us by Michelin.
They're doing a great job to support this category. And just looking at the gap that the 2 leaders have opened up over Tom Bramich on lap 3 is 3.6 seconds. That's a pretty hefty gap. The fastest lap of the race, no surprise to see it next to John Littras's name on the first flying lap, a 1:16.1. To give you an idea, that's a fair way off the existing lap record, about 1.1 seconds in fact. Lap record, a 1:15.045 for Tom Taparis, who I believe he's actually snowboarding this weekend, Steve. Can't wait to see him back in the championship, but this weekend he's taking up another pastime of his.
Well, he's snowboarding because I heard he's getting ready to go over to England to do a couple of races. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess you've got to be used to the cold to do that, don't you?
Certainly do. Through the Yamaha chicane we go. Belling holding down 4th position on board bike number 61. Good battle here once again, as we saw in race 1, developing between Drain, Durning, and, well, not getting the start that he would have wanted. He got off the line okay, but I don't know what happened to Scott Nicholson in the early start part of that race because he dropped right back down through the field on board bike number 39. This is the rider that's sitting in 3rd place in the championship.
Well, he's got a lot of work to do, but I'll tell you who has improved a lot this time out. The number 59, Tom Drain, is having a much better race this time round, and he can sniff that 4th position at the moment. So 61 Reece Belling could be coming under pressure fairly soon from Tom Drain, the man behind him.
Yep, lives out in Western New South Wales, does Tom Drain, and just been over to the US with his younger brother Sam to do a whole lot of dirt track racing. So as far as bike fitness goes, Tom Drain will be right up there at the moment.
And mixing up the different disciplines as well. Good to see. Definitely a good way to improve your skill set.
I think some of the flat tracks that he would have been racing on probably a little bit smoother than the run down through Michelin and through Dunlop to the bottom end of the circuit where he's just been as he tries to hold off Luca Durning, the local rider on the 212 machine, the all-blue Yamaha. So it's blue versus red as we make our way out of the Yamaha chicane. 5 laps down. Let's get an update from KP in the pits.
Yeah, you were just asking why Scott Nicholson has dropped back so far. It was literally just his terrible start, his head mechanic has told me.
It's always good to get a technical feedback from the head mechanic there. Yep, just another terrible start. Oh well, they'll sort that out.
Hopefully KP can find out what the problem was with Mitch Kuhn's machine as well.
Absolutely.
Because he was certainly a very, very rapid rider after race number 1. But back to the front, it is Littrus and Lynch. And I tell you what, Ty Lynch, like Littrus has pinned the ears back and he was going for it, and Ty Lynch has managed to hold on to him for the early part of this race, and that's what he needed to do. I think he did say in his post-race interview after race 1, Steve, that he didn't really want to win like that he wants to take the race win, having the fastest rider this weekend out there, and he's doing a very good job at that at the moment. Well, so they come through Suzuki, he's right on the back of Littrus's Caboolture Yamaha.
Ty Lynch has got the fastest lap of the race so far. He just did 15.4 last time round, 1:15.4. That's 0.2 quicker than the man in front. So Ty Lynch is gritting and not letting the number 308 machine of Johnny Littrus go.
Just having a look at it on the last lap, Lynch was actually faster than Littrus again, so that's 2 laps in a row that he's been faster than our race leader and managed to claw that back. But I think
Littrus bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, Littrus got a much better run through turns 1 and 2 on that lap than what Lynch did, and Lynch has lost a couple of bike lengths.
It won't take him long to make it up, though. You can just see there. The thing that I'm liking about Ty Lynch this weekend is he smoothed his style out. The foot comes off. Look at Johnny Littrus. He keeps on, the feet keep coming off the foot pegs there. But to me, it looks like Ty Lynch has smoothed his style out. And I'll tell you what, he's riding a lot better.
Well, as we mentioned, he's been doing a lot of rider coaching over at Mac Park in South Australia. So even though there's been a long break for the Michelin Supersport riders between rounds 2 and 3, or round 3 and 4 of their championship, because round 4 was in Darwin, but it was only the Superbike riders that made the trip all the way up to the top end. So the Supersport guys have had a fair time off track, losing 2 sessions on Friday. Probably didn't help them all that much. But one man that's been doing plenty of riding would definitely have been Ty Lynch, and also that we said Drain, that's just been over in the US doing all the flat track racing, so they would both be extremely bike fit, along with Tom Bramich, that's been doing a lot of off-bike training as well.
Ty Lynch just hanging in there again, just a little bit loose in the back end. Johnny Littrus looked smooth through there, a lot smoother than last time. Lynch actually looked smooth on the exit there. Elbow drag in the ground there from Johnny Littrus. Don't know how they do that.
He's good to watch, isn't he, Johnny Littrus? He certainly has a very aggressive style. And down to KP for an update.
Yeah, I've just heard from Simon Farnsworth, Jake's dad, and head mechanic, that he checked up into turn 1 off the start and tried to gain positions. He took the inside line, and he just asked a bit too much of the tyre early on in the race.
Unfortunate for Jake Farnsworth, thanks KP, because he certainly was one of the stars of race 1 with that first podium. The gap back now to Bramich in 3rd position is starting to get considerable. In fact, look at the gap that Littrus has managed to open up over Ty Lynch. Actually, Littrus has just done the fastest lap of the race with a 15.463.
Yes, still pretty impressive. Ty Lynch is really going to have to dig deep now. Littrus is putting that pressure on. Very impressive lap time from him to do that this far into the race. So Ty Lynch, what's he got? Now it's time to put it on the table.
Well, looks like he's trying to negotiate all those bumps into turn 1. It is very bumpy on that fast entry into turn 1.
It doesn't quite look as smooth tipping into that turn 1 sector there as the number 308 Johnny Littrus does. It just looks a little bit rougher on the way in there. It could be suspension set up, not sure. Maybe line selection, but he definitely loses a little bit there. Difficult situation for him now, Ty Lynch. I mean, what do? You've got a mile to the person behind you. You can't stay with the guy in front. Do you back it off a bit? These guys certainly can't back off. Reece Belling, who's been doing a fantastic job at keeping this bunch at bay, stays in 4th position. Tom Drain wants it bad. The local boys in there too. Luca Duran making his way forward. And Scott Nicholson nips up the inside now. These guys are having a cracker of a go.
Yeah, while these 3 fight, Scott Nicholson's just going to be going, thank you very much. I'll be trying to pick you off one at a time. We have a look at the Honda race highlights. Drain went up the inside of Reece Belling. Reece Belling, the experienced campaigner that he is, just let him go through, let him run wide, and then went charging straight back up the inside and maintained that 4th position over Tom Drain. And then you saw only a corner or so later, it was Scott Nicholson on the 39 machine that took advantage and moved his bike up one further position, and now he's looking at Drain to try and find a way past as well.
Yeah, pretty impressive by Reece Belling. He's been in the championship for quite a while now, had a spell, looks like he's back in it now, and he's keeping all the young guns at bay. Of course, Scotty Nicholson, he's been in the championship now, come back to a run of the Michelin's, had the race win, so Reece Belling is running around with some decent company there.
Another fastest lap from Littrus on the last lap of 15.417. So he's taken another 3 or 4 hundredths off the fastest lap in this Michelin Supersport second race of the program here at Morgan Park. And Drain is now actually past Reece Belling. What can Scott Nicholson do? Can he get past as well? He does, right at Honda Corner, one of Troy Herfoss's favourite overtaking places here at Morgan Park.
And there is that confirmation of the fastest lap by John Littrus, 1:15.417, pretty impressive lap time. For this late in the race. It shows you just how comfortable he feels now out there, but he looks like he has broken Ty Lynch with a 1.6 second gap now.
Another fastest lap for Littrus at 15.381. So he's just building momentum now, is Littrus. His top speed is a fraction down on the top speed of Ty Lynch, but it matters not because he's continuing to lap faster and faster. What's that, 4 fastest laps now, I think, for Littrus in this race. So really pushing the benchmark at the front, 1.8 seconds ahead of Lynch now. I think you're right, Steve. I think that Ty Lynch has been dropped off the back.
No, he certainly has. So it's just catch-22 for Ty Lynch now. What does he do? The problem you got is if you slow down too much, you can start making mistakes. So he'll just try and keep that pressure on as best he can. But, you know, it's always difficult when you're on your own, sitting in a podium position to make mistakes. I'll tell you one guy we haven't seen too much of, Tommy Bramich, who's out there. He's got a nice little gap back to this bunch of guys fighting for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. And there's a decent gap forward. So Tom Bramich having a quiet little race. But Tom Drain is in the thick of it here with Scott now working his way through.
Yeah, Nicholson is on a bit of a charge. He got the better of Reece Belling, and now he's trying to zero in onto the back of the all-red Yamaha R6 of Tom Drain as they make their way down through Dunlop. So coming through Suzuki Corner now and start the run up the hill. Drain is extremely fast through that area of the circuit. He actually managed to pull out a couple of bike lengths over those 3 riders following him through that very fast and bumpy area. Of course, Tom Drain, he's been around for a long time, but still only very young in actual road racing experience and also years as well.
No, absolutely. Hasn't taken him long to adapt to the 600 though. He's just getting stronger and stronger every time he gets on the bike. A little bit wide there though. Manages to gather it up. That pressure showing. But how's the young local guy? He's doing a great job, isn't he?
Yep, doing a sensational job is Luca Durning on the 212 machine. But also too, isn't it? It's great to see Tom Drain, a graduate of the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. He was one of the one of the first riders for the first years of that championship in there, and it's gone on to much bigger and better things now, riding in the Michelin Supersport category.
Yeah, no, it's you know, once again, every time we have a different class, one of those guys seems to be somewhere near the front. So it's just another testament to how good it is to have the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup as part of our program.
Littrus still managing to lap about half a second faster than Ty Lynch in second place. In fact, on that last lap, he was 0.8 of a second faster than Ty Lynch. The gap out now to 3.2 seconds. This is, of course, a 14-lap race, and we are on lap 12. These riders are just coming up to complete their 11th lap and start their 12th lap. So Drain still leading from Nicholson in that little battle. They've dropped Reece Belling and the local man Durnham off the back of this group. Behind Luca Durning is Troy Gunther in 8th position, Tarbin Walker in 9th, Morgan McLaren Wood in 10th, Noel Mann in 11th. But there is your race leader on the Caboolture Yamaha YZF R6. You can see him there standing on the pegs to let the bike ride all over those bumps on the way down through Michelin Corner.
And there's plenty of them too. Did you see the way the bike was moving around there? 200 kilometres an hour at least they're doing through there. Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, I think it was an important point that was made earlier on the weekend that it's not the fastest part of the circuit, but it's only a kilometre or an hour or two slower, but it feels so much faster because you're trying to change direction across the bumps, and also it's very, very narrow down there, and it's almost like a tunnel, isn't it?
No, with the Superbikes, they hit about 230 on the straight, 220 there. 600's probably, it could be equal to about the fastest. You know, they probably get about 220 on the straight and about 220 there.
Well, Ty Lynch looked like he was running a bit wide there. Do a good job to get it back on track at Alpine Stars corner, turn 2.
Well, look, correct me if I'm wrong, but I reckon, is that the first podium for the 727 Motorsport machine?
This year?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean in all classes?
Yeah.
It would be close. I think Ty Lynch has actually been on the podium in the Supersport Championship this year.
Yeah.
But
he's really joined forces now with 727. So
he has, but I don't think that Jed Metcher has been on the podium in the Superbike class this year. So that would be their their only podium man for the 2022 season
so far. But in any case, it's good to see that new team starting to get moving forward in also in the Superbike race. Jed Metcher did a good job as well. So the 727 Motorsport team. Based basically up here in Queensland too, having a good run out. They can be pretty happy with how things are going this time.
Yeah, Ty Lynch was on the podium at both races at Wakefield Park.
Okay, there you go. John Hafey here helping him out this weekend as well, which is good to see.
Good little battle continuing here, but Drain looks like he's managed to just pull himself away from Nicholson. This is the final lap, so our race leader, less than 3 kilometres to go. Last lap board will be issued to these riders as they come across the start-finish line now. Tom Bramich holding down a very lonely 3rd position. But still, 2 podiums, a much better result than most of the earlier rounds for Tom Bramich this year, Steve. He's had a difficult start to the season, not a lot of riding in the previous years, but good to see him getting the season back on track here with 2 strong efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. He's ridden a perfect race here. There was nothing he could do he couldn't stay with the guys in front. No point risking anything. Tom just needs to get some laps under his belt. Once again, still fairly new to the class, learning the bike. It's all starting to come together for him. New suspension, K-Tech suspension this weekend for the first time as well. So good job by him. But this man, John Litteris, what can you say? Brilliant ride.
Yep, he'll be extremely happy with this race. Redemption somewhat after the electrical issues robbed him of race number 1, but no such problem in race 2. Litteris comes across the line to take the checkered flag, and a dominant victory on board the Caboolture Yamaha, bike number 308 over Ty Lynch on the 727 Moto Yamaha. Solid round for Ty Lynch though, brought himself well and truly back into championship contention. Only a very small lead now for Ty Lynch as they leave round 5. Looks like Tom Bramich will take 3rd place as he comes across the line to get the checkered flag. And an excellent result, and I think that would be his best ever result for Tom Drain. 4th position in the Michelin Supersport class on board bike number 59. So congratulations to Tom Drain. But wow, our race leader, John Litteris, the best way to bounce back after the disappointment of race 1.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. They sorted whatever that problem was. John Litteris, what a ride he had. He just showed everybody who the boss was and pulled it all together. Ty Lynch, 2nd, good job for him. But the Caboolture Yamaha can be happy with that.
Certainly can, as do 727 Moto. There's the confirmation of your results, 6.1 seconds, the final winning margin for Johnny Litteris on the 308 machine over Ty Lynch and Tom Bramich. Tom Drain in 4th place, Nicholson in 5th, Reece Belling in 6th, Durning in 7th, Gunther in 8th, McLaren Wood in 9th, and Tarbin Walker rounds out that top 10.
Yeah, that was really good to see Tarbin Walker hit that top 10. Noel Mann in 11th, that's a good result for him. Farnsworth, of course, had that crash. Mitch Kuhn didn't start.
Well, Honda race highlights, Steve. Let's have a look. We predicted it that Litteris got a good start, but just Ty Lynch got a cracking start and was on the inside line and able to take the run through AWMF corner turn 1 for the first time. But very early on, he was getting the bike sideways, making himself very difficult to overtake.
Reece Belling got a great start too. Massive battle there. It wasn't long before Litteris went past. Straight into the Alpine Stars corner there, laid it on the line, just about lost it, but held it all together. Farnsworth went down, that was the end of his day. Can be happy though, because boy, he got that podium. Litteris again with the foot off the peg. He was pushing to the limit and didn't back off.
And you can see how bumpy the circuit was too, with the bikes dancing around everywhere. But this battle was extremely entertaining. Tom Drain coming down the inside of Reece Belling, but the experienced campaigner knew he'd just let the rider in front run wide and he'd take back the running. But it wasn't long before Drain was able to get past, and then Nicholson did the same thing at Honda Corner.
Yeah, that all happened in a couple of corners. That massive amount of overtaking was good to see. John Littress looks over his shoulder, over the line he goes and takes victory.
By 6.1 seconds over Ty Lynch. Ty Lynch will take the round win on 45 points. Tom Bramich will finish in second, and Littress, despite race one, will finish in third place for the round, 1 point ahead of Scott Nicholson. Shows you how important that finish was in race one. Top three making their way into Parc Fermé. It won't be long and we'll be able to hear from them. But what a great demonstration of riding from our Michelin Supersport riders. There is the confirmation of your championship results. 151 for Littress, 145 for Ty Lynch. 6 points the difference heading into the final two rounds of the championship. Scott Nicholson still not out of the equation, only 36 points behind our championship leader. Tom Bramich has surged up into fourth after a sensational weekend, and Tom Drain rounds out that top five.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff by all of those guys. Yeah, it was a good ride by Tom Bramich. He's certainly starting to bring himself up close to, getting up there in the championship.
Time to head down to the Parc Fermé area with KP and our top three.
Here we go. Yes, in P3, Tom Bramich. Tell us about your start. It all seemed pretty busy to begin with, but then it ended quite quiet as you came over the finish line.
Yeah. The start was a bit hectic. All the boys went into the inside, I went to the outside, and then they just had a bit more pace than me this weekend. We knew it was going to be a bit of a weaker track for us, so to come away with a second and a third is a really good result for us. And just like to thank all my sponsors: Apex Steel, Hazeldean Chickens, Carl Cox Motorsport. And yeah, thanks to all the boys and my team for doing a great job this weekend.
Well done, Tom. Congratulations.
Awesome. See you at the Phillip Island.
And in P2, Ty Lynch, another podium for you. Not a win this time. John Littress really ran away with it there, but great ride.
Yeah, look, Johnny was too quick to keep up with. We made some good changes to the bike that in total improved our overall fast pace and our lap time, but we just ran out a bit of grip at the end there, and I just couldn't push any harder. Johnny really had a good dip, and it was a good race actually. Yeah, good fun.
Excellent to watch. Well done.
No, cheers. Thank you.
And in P1, John Littress, well done. That was redemption. You worked very hard out there. It became a bit of a lonely race at the end because you just ran away with it. Your lap times were so quick and so hungry for that win. Congrats.
Yeah, well, after this morning, that little debacle, it feels good to be back on the top step again. And just couldn't do it without everyone that helps me. Like AGV, TCX, Solent Victus Motorcycles, Pirelli, Peregrine Leathers. Just everyone, seriously, just everyone, Motul, just everyone that helps me, Caboolture Yamaha, just everyone. It's just so good, thank you.
Well done, some really important championship points.
Yeah, some important ones, thank you.